Welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight on the bar, we've got the Suntory World Whisky Ao. Stay tuned. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and tonight on the bar, we're going to explore this very interesting blended whiskey here, the Suntory World Whisky Ao, which is a blend of 5 major whiskeys from the Beam Suntory group. So it's got a little bit of everything in it here, guys. We've got some Japanese whiskey, we've got some Scotch whiskey, some Irish whiskey, some Canadian whiskey, and some American bourbon. So before we get into the overview and the makeup of the Suntory World Whisky Ao, I'm not really too sure what I should ask you guys to pour, but if you want to pour yourself, you got a blended, you got a blended Scotch, maybe you got some Japanese whiskey, maybe you got some single malt Scotch, some single malt Irish whiskey, maybe you got some Canadian whiskey, some American bourbon, whatever. There's a big makeup of it in this particular product. So whatever floats your boat, you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a heck of a lot better for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me. So before we get into everything here, I'll just give you a quick background on the Suntory World Whisky Ao. The Suntory World Whisky Ao is a unique blend created by Beam Suntory, and it was launched in 2019. And Ao stands out for its global character and its combined whiskeys from 5 major regions: Japan, Scotland, Ireland, Canada, and the United States. This international fusion offers a complex profile balancing of sweetness, smokiness, and a hint of spice and fruit. And the name of it here, Ao, meaning blue in Japanese, reflects the oceans that connect all these regions together. So it really plays off those characteristics there, guys. It's 5 major blends from 5 major whiskey producing nations, and they're all owned by Beam Suntory, and they stick them all in the bottle here. So we'll get into the overview of this bottle here. So what can I tell you about the Suntory World Whisky Ao? Well, from an ABV standpoint, this particular bottling comes out with an ABV of 43%, likely has chill filtration, and likely has color added. It is a blend of single malts and grain whiskeys from 5 major whiskey producing nations. So for Japan, the whiskey comes from the Yamazaki and the Hakushu distillery, and then you've got the Scotch portion, which is from Ardent Moor distillery. Irish whiskey's coming from Cooley distillery. The Canadian portion of this is from Alberta Distillers, and it rounds it out with the American side, and you get some Jim Beam bourbon influence in here from the Jim Beam group. But again, these are all properties and distilleries owned by the Beam Suntory group. We'll get into the presentation of the bottle here. I think the presentation of this bottle is very, very elegant. It's almost got this really cool diamond pattern here. The label kind of wraps around. It's a hefty bottle. Only comes in with 700 mils in the bottle, so it's a little bit of a smaller bottle. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool bottle, very regal looking. I do like the packaging. The packaging does contain a whole ton of information here, a QR code that'll take you over the website. Again, it just takes you to the website. It doesn't tell you anything too important about the bottling or maturation process or anything like that. Nothing you couldn't find already on the bottle or on the back. Yeah, just an Irish, Scotch, American, Canadian, Japanese whiskeys from the 5 major from the world's 5 major whiskeys. Suntory blenders carefully select malt and grain whiskeys produced by Beam Suntory owned distilleries in these 5 whiskey producing countries, and meticulously blend them to craft the Suntory World Whisky Ao. And then it goes into just the meaning behind the name, Ao meaning blue in Japanese. But yeah, very cool looking packaging. I wish they'd put something on there about the chill filtration, obviously, but it's a 43% produced by Beam Suntory for the mass market, and almost a novelty for the fact that it's from 5 different nations to produce this one particular blend. But anyway, we'll get into the pour and just take a look at it here. I almost should skip over the pour just because it is colored, but we'll go in and take a look at the color of the liquid, colored or not. All right, so we'll go in close and take a look at the Suntory World Whisky Ao. So it's really got a nice amber hue to it there, and obviously color added, I would assume. But yeah, very nice, approachable, not too dark and not too light. Yeah. All right, let's get on the nose here and see what we can get out of the Suntory World Whisky Ao on the nose here. Again, it's a blend of 5 major whiskey countries here, so we'll see what comes out in the nose. So let's dive into it. Very approachable nose, I will say, right off the get-go. It's not overbearing or anything like that. It's not explosive either, but it definitely has a lot going on for it here. I get some vanilla notes on there, some nice toffee, some pineapple fruit in there, some banana in there too, some like ripe bananas, honey, some toasted almonds in there too. Maybe a little bit of brown sugar on there as well. Yeah, very nice nose. All right, let's dive into the palate, get into the taste, and see what we can get out of the Suntory World Whisky Ao. So, Slanja, cheers, and to your health. Let's dive into it. So right off the bat, it's fairly light. Not a very viscous whiskey by any means or any stretch. And I mean, 43%, I wouldn't expect it to be, but still needs to be stated. Pretty interesting palate for sure. I'm getting some heavy notes of some honey on there, some heathered honey. I get some vanilla on there. There's a bit of citrus, some lemon, some orange in there as well. Go for another sip. This nice apricot flavor kind of complements the oranges and those lemons and citrus notes. There's a touch of smoke. Like, I wouldn't even really. It's there. It's more just like a scotchy smoke, like a ash. It's very faint. Nothing too derogatory or nothing too booming about that note of smoke. I wouldn't even call it peaty. Then there's some pineapple on there. I get some icing sugar, and then at the end it's just this nice little bit of light oak spice, maybe like some cinnamon or a little bit of clove maybe. But yeah, it's very, very much fleeting. But yeah, it's fairly complex, I will say that. I mean, you got those kind of notes there, and it goes through them fairly quickly. Not very transformational, but there is a lot going on for it in the palate. But we'll get into the finish and see what we can get out of this Suntory World Whisky Ao, and see what we can bring out in that. So I'm going for one more sip. Okay. So finish-wise, I will say that it is fairly short. It's one of these whiskeys that I think definitely would benefit from the 46%. I wish, if they're gonna go and do something like this, I really wish they would kind of stay away from that grain spirit. Not that I'm getting a big character of it, because it's fairly neutral, but I just think it would have a lot more going on for it if they had used, if you're in Canada, want to use some rye, go for it. You've got the bourbon influence there from the U.S., and then you've got some combination grain and single malts. They could have easily done something for the Irish piece. You've got Ardnamore in there for Scotland, but I just wish they kind of would have steered away more from the grain aspect of it for sure. Net, it's a pretty interesting little blend here. But you know what? I think we really need to talk value, because that's really where it lies in this. So I'll get into the value proposition, and then I'll kind of close out. So this particular bottle, this is a bottle that was lent to me by my buddy Lucas. So Luke, thank you very much for letting me review this at the channel and have a little bit of fun with it. It was definitely worth the adventure. This particular bottle, it says online that it was $105 Canadian for this particular blend, and this is in Ontario pricing, or on LCBO pricing here in Ontario. So it might be a little more on the high side. I'm going to say for that, I would probably pass on this. I know when I spoke to Luke originally, he said that when he originally bought this, he didn't read the entire packaging, and he picked it up and he bought it thinking it was a Japanese whiskey. So he was really after Japanese whiskey. He got this, and he was, I guess, pleasantly surprised with it. He thought of me to review it, and I'm glad he did. Definitely worth the adventure. Would I pay $102, $105 for this particular bottle? I would say no. For a forte into kind of that steering into Japanese whiskey, I think I would just kind of dive into a Japanese whiskey and do some single malts there. I think there's some great Japanese and non-Scottish, non-Irish whiskeys that need to be, you know, paid attention to. But I think you need to kind of stick to that. So, I mean, the Yamazaki distillery, I think, makes some great stuff. I'd love to get in there and try some of that. And I think that's kind of where I would go versus this. So, in my opinion, it's a to me, it's more of a novelty than it is, you know, something you want to pick up. I think if it's out there in the wild, you want to pick it up and try it. Maybe go bottle splits with your buddies or something like that. Try it. It's definitely very easy drinking, very approachable, and, you know, very non-offensive. So I think that's kind of where it needs to exist. If you're an enthusiast, I would say stay clear and just kind of stick to the single malts from the respected countries, and you'll be just fine. So that's my review of the Suntory World Whisky Ao. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully it was a little bit of a change from my my Scotch and bourbon reviews and whatnot, and Canadian whiskey reviews. But anyways, if you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskey Wire. And, you know, have you tried this whiskey? What did you think of it? I'd love to hear from you guys. What's your favorite Japanese whiskey? I want to get in and try some Japanese whiskeys here eventually. I have no idea where to go in the marketplace, so let me know what your favorite is, or if you have any recommendations of where I could go in there, or if there's a distillery you really want to see me try. I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you're still hanging around here and you're still on watching the video, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Love making these videos for you guys, coming down here after a hard day and just having a dram in front of the old camera here, making some videos for you. So yeah, appreciate you guys. I'll leave you with that. All the best. Take care. I'll see you around, guys. Bye for now.